Hello and welcome back to the OnlyAccies channel. It's finished here. Ross County 0, Hamilton 2 in what was a very, very much needed 3 points against a relegation rival. Accies fans are buzzing. Neil, how do you feel after that one?
Just absolutely delighted, Ben. So, it's happy Christmas time. I think, the whole of the league's tightened up now as well. But the fact is we're now in the fight. And I'm actually feeling, if we can keep the squad injury-free, we've got a chance now. And if you think back this time a month ago, where we were all just feeling that we had no chance, we've picked up 10 points in the space of 3 weeks. I think I think that Aaron Martin has been hugely significant. I think his arrival as the centre back has made a massive difference to just, we look much calmer in the middle. But I think that coupled with Brian Easton coming back in, has brought experience back into the back line. I do think Nathan Thomas has made a difference as well in the middle. But I think the option, the working out that actually putting Odifin in the hole, him coming back in today, hugely significant in terms of the difference from the defeat against Hibs last week. I think those elements, we've now got a spine in the middle of the team, and I just think that's allowing the other players in the team to play. I think we saw that with, Callahan. Although I think Callahan actually is due some credit for his performances in the earlier games, but I thought he was excellent today. I thought the 2 goals that we scored, I thought Moyle deserves a lot of credit. His the wee pass in for the first goal was excellent. I actually thought Callahan should probably have scored in the first minute of the game as well. But if he'd taken that chance and if Moya had put the one away, it was really funny when Moya was getting subbed. I don't know if you saw, but George Cairns gave him a bump. And he said to him, you should have scored that. But if we'd scored both of those goals, we could have been coming away from Dingle with a 4-0 victory. But I think it's huge. I think the overwhelming feeling will be one of great relief. But I do think now that we've got a better foundation to go on with the rest of the season now. Hopefully, on Wednesday, we can take that into the game in Livingston and come away with 3 points. Wouldn't it be great if we could actually get 2 results on the bench? So what did you think?
Thank you for asking. I loved it. It's a rare game I enjoyed watching. I enjoyed watching the game. As you can see from the replies on Twitter and all that, Accies fans are absolutely buzzing, as am I. I loved watching that. The only unfortunate thing is that St Mirren went and got a late winner. They didn't get that late winner, we were catapulted up the table.
I think the thing about that, though, is that when you look at the table now, when I first saw that result come through, I thought, no. That was influenced by a sending off just before half-time. St Johnstone went down to 10 men. I think that's had a big influence on that game. But what that's done is that's drawn St Johnstone in the fight, Kilmarnock are in the fight, Motherwell are in the fight. If we get a couple of results, we could potentially go into the top 6 by beating Motherwell. So, the whole world has changed.
let's not get ahead of ourselves here. Let's just take it game at a time. Today was great. It does leave us 11th though, but it has opened up a 4-point gap to Ross County who sit bottom. That's the important thing for me.
Oh, absolutely.
Is that it means that we have a spare game that if we lose, it's not going to be the end of the world. We'll still be ahead of Ross County. But like you said, it tightens up that bottom half. Livingston and St Mirren are both sitting on 18 points in 7th and 8th place. 9th, 10th, 11th and 12th are all on 17. So that whole bottom 7 is interchangeable.
Just concertinaed. And you are absolutely right to curb my enthusiasm, Ben, because I know that I'm getting ahead of myself. But that's probably how most of us are. There's an excitement back. And I think the thing about today was if we take it to analysing the game, we stopped County from being able to do an awful lot. They don't really score an awful lot of goals anyway, but we forced them to play down the wings. And did Fulton have to make a save at all in that game?
No, what impressed me with Fulton though, and I put him up for Accies man of the match after the game. Undoubtedly he's not going to get a lot of votes, but I put him up because his aerial presence was so much better than it had been beforehand. And whenever the ball went up in the air and he came for it, you were kind of holding your breath going, oh God, this could go one of two ways. But I thought today Fulton was absolutely excellent.
But again, I think that comes down to he knows where his defenders are going to be.
Yes.
There's no nerves in the team at the back. They just look much calmer and in control. I think much the same could be said for, there was one point where I shouted at the telly when Scott McMahon missed one. I think there was a ball in the first half, I think, where he just didn't clear it properly and we almost get in a bit of trouble. But I think that was probably the only point in the game where I felt even a pang in nerves. You know, when we took the lead, I was like that, we're going to win this game. It was that kind of thing. You just had the confidence we're going to see it out. And though I think there's still scope for to be a bit more creativity in the middle.
Yes, absolutely.
But I think the thing that was good when the two, particularly when Kyle Monroe and Andy Winter, when they came on, they stretched the game, so they made it harder for County to keep counter attacking on us. They kept the ball at that end of the park, and I think the thing about County, though they had a lot of the possession and we sat quite deep, they didn't really threaten us. Their issue is that they don't score a lot of goals. They've only scored, I think it's 9 goals in 18 games.
Something like that, yeah. They're one of the
and I think the other point that I'd probably just want to throw in is that I think that at the end of the season, where we were very fortunate with the win at Ibrox, that got us, just with the benefit of COVID, a place in the Premier League this season. I think if we had gone to Dingwall, which we were meant to do on that last Saturday before the football stopped, if the season had continued, I think we were going to go to Dingwall and beat them there. We were just coming on to a bit of form. And I actually think the team that would have got relegated, if the league had followed, if the league had finished properly last season, I actually think it would have been Ross County that would have gone down.
Yeah.
So I think what you're beginning to see is actually maybe a truer reflection of the teams in the league. That said, all the teams that are in the bottom half, we all know they're all much of a muchness. We're not any different to any of the rest of them. But I do think that actually the fact that we're used to being in the fight and being in the scrap, it does help us. You know, though we hear that and get patronised by it a lot on the telly, actually, you know, I think sometimes that is to our advantage.
Yeah.
But the thing I'm encouraged by is there just some signs of a little bit of flair beginning to come back into the way we play. And if our flair players who are not in the team at the moment are able to come back from injury and begin to influence games, and we don't suffer other injuries, then hopefully that will take us up the table, but only time will tell with that. Certainly, I'm a lot more positive and excited about the football tonight than I was the last time I came on to Zoom to talk to you. So.
Good, man, good. Tell us, take one game at a time, and we'll just end it here. If you were to pick your man of the match today, who would be your pick?
For me, I think we've probably got to give it to Scott Martin, and that's not an easy pick. I think it's just on the basis of the brilliance with which he finished that the second goal, because that was a crucial goal that won the game for us, and it took this knocked the Christmas stuffing out of us. So, it was a very and that could be a real turning point in our season. So feels good tonight, and it's happy Christmas to everybody that's watching this.
All right, our second fan is Alistair. Alistair, I'm assuming you're the same as everyone else, mate. Buzzing?
Absolutely buzzing, mate. You can't beat 3 points on a Saturday. It just makes you feel so much better for the rest of your day, doesn't it?
It does, mate. It does. And for me, I was saying to Tatty beforehand, that was the first game in a while that I enjoyed watching. I liked watching that game. It was entertaining. What did you make of it? Did anybody stand out to you?
I actually have enjoyed most of the games recently, minus the Hibs one. That was abysmal. There's nothing else to say. I enjoyed the Aberdeen game. I enjoyed the Dundee United game as well. I think performance-wise, we've been getting better and better. I thought the day was a strange game, and I watched the Ross County commentary rather than the Hamilton commentary. By the way, the team they had was brilliant. Stephen Craigan was maybe a bit biased towards Ross County, but the commentary was actually pretty good. I thought David Moyle was absolutely brilliant. It's just his willingness to just run and chase everything. Unlucky maybe not to get a foul in the first half, the pitch. Ben Sterling as well, actually, something I'm starting to really like. I think Aaron Martin and Brian Easton kind of cover him a wee bit, because he's got that experience next to him, he can get lit up a bit more, but I think he looks like a good player, especially as a utility player, like a Grant Gillespie type role.
That's interesting. I do agree that I think David Moyle was a bit of an unsung hero today. I think that because he never got the goal, he did get an assist, but because he didn't get his goal, he maybe just doesn't stand out as much as a striker, obviously. But I thought his work rate was excellent today. He did really well to set up Callaghan for the first goal. I'm going to disagree with you on Ben Sterling. I do think that today was maybe one of the better games I'd seen him, but I would still prefer Jamie Hamilton. And obviously, when Sean Want comes back, Sean Want goes straight.
Sean Want goes straight to the pick.
I would rather play Jamie Hamilton over Ben Sterling, but it's a game of opinions at the end of the day. What did you make of Scott Martin today? He was excellent.
Scott Martin was brilliant. Just, I'm amazed that he actually managed to stay in the pitch, because the amount of fouls that he gets away with is phenomenal. It's just, we daft ones like pulling players and then kicking them on the way down and stuff. He gets away with a lot. Him and Scott Martin were both on the ground, kind of just kicking away to try and get the ball. And Scott Martin left a very, very nasty kick after the incident was finished, and I was surprised that he stayed on. By the way, brilliant to get a goal. I tweeted out as well on Twitter. That's a very, very rare goal for him, but he took it well, and he was lightning quick. I've never seen him that fast getting to the ball.
Brandon obviously is usually on the channel. He put up a tweet saying it was reminiscent of Greg Dockett against Motherwell, and I think it was. Winning the ball in the middle, driving past the midfield, and then just that last defender getting past him and slotting home. I thought Scott Martin was brilliant. He was my man of the match tonight. I'm interested in your opinions on Ryan Fulton, because I know you've been on here before and backed up Ryan Fulton when most wouldn't.
I'm a big fan of Ryan Fulton.
That's what I mean, because I know you are, but I know that a lot of people aren't, and I'm one of them. I don't think he's fantastic, but I thought today he was excellent. He didn't have a lot of saves to make, but what I said to Tatty before was his aerial presence was the best I'd seen it.
Yeah, I generally think that my only criticism of him would be maybe coming out for a cross when he could stay back and there's a rebound falls to an opposition player and he's on his arse for the rebound that results in a goal. That's my only criticism of him. I think as a short stopper he's actually very good. From set pieces he commands his area very well, but for open play he's a bit lacklustre, not lacklustre, but lackadaisical whether he's coming off his line or not, and he ends up making a backside a few times. I think his distribution's very, very good. Especially when we're 2-0 up today and we're just looking to waste time. His kick is a great weapon for us to just get the ball right out the pitch and force Ross County to start for the back. Because Ross County were looking to play football today. They were looking to play football. We all just pumped it along to Moyle, and what a job he done. But no, Fulton, I think the day as well, had a very, very good game. But as you said, there wasn't a moment where I thought that's going to go in and then Fulton made a save. The only time I thought Ross County were going to score was what would have been an own goal, the clearance with Martin on it.
Yes. Oh, mate, my heart. And you heard the commentators, you obviously didn't, and I don't know what it was like when the Ross County in, but the Accies commentators had a big gasp, and I was the same. I thought, I was like that. Of course, this is how this would go downhill for Accies.
Aye.
An equaliser through a deflected clearance, but thankfully it went wide. Let's look at the table though. How important are those 3 points? It does keep us in 11th, and it also opens up a 4-point gap over Ross County.
That 4-point gap's massive. Because being a Hamilton fan, you'll know as well as I do, and every other Hamilton fan knows, when you're 4 points adrift, it's so demoralising to actually watch the games, because you know it's 2 games away. It's not just one good result. You need to make up ground on 2 separate games to catch up with the people that you're chasing. We're a bit gutted St Mirren managed to pull it back from 2-0 down in the 81st minute to get a win. Fair play to them. That's them unbeaten in 9 games. St Mirren seem to be flying. So I think it'll be Ross County and us this season. I'm trying not to get carried away with the win today. Although we've been decent form, I think we'll still be in it there.
Possibly. I do want to read, just talking about not getting ahead of ourselves. Aki's Life on Twitter tweeted, a performance that we need to build from. We can't get ahead of ourselves because if County were more clinical, it could have been a very different outcome. Overall, good performance, good fight, and a crucial 3 points. I agree with most of that. I don't know if I agree necessarily with if County had been more clinical. I think they had 2 chances in the first half that they maybe should have done better on. But overall, I thought Ross County were poor, and that was shown after the game, 30 minutes after the game. Stuart Kettlewell gets sacked.
Aye, that's big news, isn't it? You get beat off Hamilton and you lose your job. It's understandable.
And just to finish off, mate, I'll just read out a few more tweets from Hamilton fans, try and get as many opinions as we can. Reece said it's a massive win. Livy on Wednesday, another 6-pointer with the opportunity to go up to 7th. Just got to back the team all the way, no matter what goes on behind the scenes. Let's focus on football. Boyd Miller says, good performance where in patches the long ball seemed to work. However, I know we came away with a clean sheet, but there's a panic anytime the ball comes into the area. Brilliant from Scott Martin. Didn't know he had that in his locker. And Big Stub said, no complaints this time. Good win against a full-strength side. More of that, please. I completely agree. We'll finish it here. If you were to pick your man of the match, who would it be?
David Moyle, without a shadow of a doubt. I thought he was unreal today. Jumped for every ball, ran for everything. So many occasions to get the better of Morris, and I'm even going to attempt the other centre-half's name. They get the better of him so many times. Unlucky not to get his goal when he flicked it up over Morris' head. Lovely bit of skill. Maybe should have done better with the shot than hitting it very central and low. But no, I thought his assist for Callahan, done brilliant. Shielded the ball off 2 boys in the box, made space, and still laid it off for somebody who was advancing. I thought David Moyle was unplayable today.
Brilliant. Very interesting, man. Very interesting. Thank you very much.
Very welcome, mate. Thanks for having me.
I appreciate it.